You're the elevator mechanic in the tallest tower in a corrupt city, and you decide who rises. This is you. 90 floors up, standing on top of an elevator car in a dark shaft that drops into nothing, grease to your elbows, the cables humming beside your face like guitar strings tuned to death. Above you sleeps the penthouse of the man who owns this city. Below you, 1,000 feet of black air. And in your hand is the one tool nobody upstairs understands. The knowledge of how every person in this tower gets from the bottom to the top, and how, if you choose, they never get there at all. They built a glass mountain to show the world who's above whom. They forgot to ask who controls the only way up. Rewind. You're a mechanic, not a glamorous word. You came up fixing machines nobody thinks about until they fail. Escalators, freight lifts, the guts of buildings. You got the contract for the tower because you were cheap and you were good, and nobody important ever wants to meet the elevator guy. The tower itself is the city in a single building. Shops and desperation on the bottom floors, banks and lawyers in the middle, the men who actually run things up top, and one private express car that goes straight to the penthouse and stops for no one. You learn the rules in the first week. Rule 1. In a vertical city, your floor is your worth, and the elevator is the only thing that moves a man between worlds. Rule 2. Everyone in the building, from the janitor to the king upstairs, is completely helpless the second the doors won't open, and you're the only one who knows why they won't. Rule 3. The one that sends a current up your spine. They think the elevator is a convenience. It's actually the spine of the whole tower, and you're the only one with his hands inside it. Stage 1. First thing you notice, nobody sees you. You ride the service car in your gray coveralls, and the same executives who'd never share an elevator with a tradesman talk over your head like you're a mop in the corner. Mergers, affairs, who's getting fired, who's getting indicted. They spill it all in the 30 seconds between floors, because the mechanic doesn't count. The mechanic won't remember. So you start remembering. You learn the building's secrets one elevator ride at a time, floor by floor. The whole org chart of who fears whom, written in nervous small talk. The lesson clicks like a relay closing. The most powerful position in any building is the one everyone ignores. Stage 2. Knowing secrets is nothing without leverage, and your leverage is the machine itself. You start to understand that you can make the elevators do things that look like accidents. A car that runs slow, doors that stick for a humiliating minute while a big shot sweats in front of his juniors. An express car to the penthouse that mysteriously needs maintenance on the morning of a rival's crucial meeting, forcing the great man to take the slow public car down with the commoners, arriving late and rattled. You never break anything that can be traced. You just adjust the building's moods, and you make sure everyone slowly learns that the moods have a cause, and the cause has a phone number. The lesson seats itself cold. You don't need to threaten powerful people. You just need to control the floor under their feet. Stage 3. A building manager gets suspicious. He notices the faults cluster around certain people on certain days. He pulls the maintenance logs. He starts talking about bringing in a second contractor to check your work. He could end you. So you don't argue, you engineer his gratitude. You quietly cause a small, dramatic, very public near miss in a competitor contractor's territory across town. Then you discover the flaw in your own building first, and fix it heroically before anyone's hurt, making yourself look like the only man vigilant enough to keep the tower safe. The manager doesn't fire you. He gives you a bigger contract and tells the owners you're indispensable. You turn the man hunting you into your biggest reference. And the lesson racks into place. The surest way to beat an inspector is to make him need you to feel safe. Stage 4. Now you stop selling repairs and start selling movement. Because you've realized the real product was never the elevator. It's access. Who gets to the top, and how fast. A junior executive desperate to accidentally share the express car with the CEO? You can arrange the timing for a fee. A man who needs his rival to be conspicuously, career-endingly late to the board meeting on the 90th floor? You can arrange that too. You become the silent scheduler of every important encounter in the building, the invisible hand that decides who bumps into whom in a closing door. You're not fixing machines anymore, you're choreographing power, 30 seconds at a time. And you etch the rule into the steel, control the path to the top, and you control who's allowed to arrive. Stage 5. You climb past the building into the city. Because the man in the penthouse, the one who owns the tower and half the skyline, has enemies, and those enemies come to the tower for meetings. And meetings happen in rooms you can reach and elevators you control. So you start collecting the powerful the way you collected gossip. You wire the express car, the one that goes straight to the top with ears. A mechanic on a ladder near a control panel is the most invisible spy in the world. Now you don't just know who's rising. You know what they say on the way up, the deals, the threats, the betrayals whispered, and the one place men think is private because it's moving. You become the city's best informed nobody, holding the secrets of men who could end most people with a phone call. And the lesson lands like a counterweight dropping. The elevator is the one room where the powerful forget they're being watched, so it's the one room worth owning. Stage 6. There's still a weakness. You're one man with one tower. Other buildings, other shafts, other mechanics who could play the same game or sell you out. So you build a guild. You get your people the maintenance contracts on every tower that matters in the city. A cousin, a former apprentice, a man who owes you, until every important vertical journey in the skyline runs through hands that answer to you. The CEOs and the senators and the bank kings ride up and down all day, never once dreaming that the same quiet network holds the cables of every tower they live in. You've turned the whole vertical city into a single machine, and you keep the master schematic, and the rule goes in like a bolt torqued tight. Don't own one spine. Own the network of spines, so the whole city stands on your maintenance. Stage 7. Then the future comes for you. The owner announces a new system. Smart elevators, fully automated, controlled by software from a tower in another country. No mechanic required. No human hand inside the spine. That would erase you. So you do what you always do. You get inside the thing that's meant to replace you. You volunteer your tower as the pilot. You consult with the software engineers, you give them the building's quirks and its faults, and you make sure the new system has one undocumented behavior, a backdoor only. You know, a way the smart elevators can still be told to misbehave by a man who speaks their language. They install your ghost and call it an upgrade. And the lesson burns like a shorted wire. When they automate your job, become the one who teaches the machine and teach it to still answer to you. And one night you ride the express car alone to the top, the city spread out below you like a circuit board, and you understand you've made it. This is the peak. There is not a deal closed, a rival buried, a career made or broken in this city's towers that happens without your invisible hand on the controls. The man in the penthouse thinks he's above everyone because he's at the highest floor. He has no idea that the floor itself and the shaft and the cables and the very ascent that makes him a king all belong to the grease-stained nobody. He's never once looked in the eye. You came up fixing machines no one thinks about, and you turned the thing that carries the powerful to their thrones into a leash. You learned what the men at the top never do. Height is an illusion built on machinery, and whoever owns the machinery owns the height. Here's where the cable frays, and it frays from you. Because a man who decides who rises starts to believe he can never fall. And that's exactly the man who stops watching the counterweight. You get arrogant. You stop riding the cars yourself. Stop listening to the buildings hum the way you used to. Stop assuming the back door you built into the smart system could be found by anyone but you. You keep a master file. Every wired car, every back door, every secret you ever rode an elevator into. Because you've stopped seeing it as a liability and started seeing it as a monument to the man who beat gravity. You spent a lifetime knowing that what goes up on a cable can come down hard, and forgot the cable was always attached to you too. The man who controls the rise always forgets he's standing in the same shaft. The fall comes from the apprentice, the quiet young tech you trained because she reminded you of yourself, hungry and sharp and invisible. You taught her the building's moods, the choreography, the ghost in the smart system. What you didn't teach her was loyalty, because you assumed the leash only ran one way. She found your master file, and she's made a deal with the man in the penthouse. Turn in the mechanic who's been holding the whole tower hostage, inherit the network, run it quieter and cheaper and without the ego. She doesn't have to dismantle your empire, she just has to hand the owner the one file that proves the floor under his feet was never his. Every apprentice you teach to control the rise eventually studies the man standing at the top, so now it's tonight. The climax. You're on top of the express car in the dark shaft, 90 floors up, doing a job you weren't scheduled for because she told you it needed doing, and that should have told you everything. The car starts to move. You didn't tell it to. Below you, the controls are answering a hand that isn't yours, and you realize the back door you built into the machine has a second key, and you're the one thing in this tower that suddenly can't decide where it's going. For the first time in years, you're not the man choosing who rises. You're cargo, two choices, and gravity doesn't care which. Door 1, you let go of the pride. You climb down, you hand her the file, the guild, the network, the keys to the vertical city, and you walk out the ground floor doors a free man and a finished one, riding the public car with the commoners for the rest of your life, knowing the spine of every tower still hums to a tune you wrote but no longer conduct. You live. You just stop being the one who decides. Door 2, you don't climb down. You've got one thing she doesn't know about. A hard override, a dead man's switch wired into the master schematic, the kind of secret that doesn't ruin a rival, but drops a tower's worth of trust into the void all at once. You go to war with the girl you made, in the building whose every cable bends to you, and you find out whether the man who taught the city to rise can still decide who falls. Maybe you take it all back. Maybe you learn that the mechanic, in the end, goes down the one shaft he forgot to put a brake in. The climb down or the override. The public car or the long drop. The express is moving in the dark, faster than you told it to, and somewhere below a hand that learned everything from yours is resting easy on the controls. You make the call. That's a wrap for today. I'll be dropping more stories like this soon. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one.